Thank you very much, Kate, and very good evening, everyone. I am genuinely delighted to be here this evening to talk about small businesses, apprenticeships, and to look at what small businesses truly do need if they are to be able to engage fully in enabling our young people to have the training and the skills that we so desperately need for our future. Training, skills, education, ensuring our schools have a far better understanding of the diverse range of small businesses in their local communities, and encouraging more engagement between small businesses, local schools and colleges remains an absolute passion of mine. Today, I believe, though, there is an added impetus on all of us to deliver on this, but there is also an equal opportunity to make the changes that we need if we can just simply grasp it. FSB is the largest organisation representing small and medium-sized businesses in the UK, as well as the self-employed. We are very pleased that around a quarter of our members currently have at least one apprentice. But if we are to really get to grips with what we need to do, then we have to see many more able to engage. Core to this is for government, employers, and indeed all of us to actually start again to value what an apprenticeship is. Now, at its heart, it is our ability to recognise that good vocational training is at least unequal to academic, and that with higher degree apprenticeships, these can offer a more effective way in which individuals of all ages can actually enhance their careers when it suits them. Alongside this, small businesses in particular need a system that helps them to identify those individuals who have the right abilities to be trained, help them to choose an outside provider they have the confidence and understanding in. And this will add to and complement the on-the-job training that they are prepared to devote their time and money into giving that individual. Smaller businesses do understand that apprenticeships do make good business sense. And we know this because FSB conducted our most in-depth survey to date on apprenticeships only last summer, resulting in over 2,000 members responding. And whilst we celebrate this, we continue to have concerns for the future. If I take a look back myself, apprenticeships were something that we all understood. Certainly in traditional trade-related sectors, we had a relatively simple system, but most importantly, everybody understood both the value of the offer and what it meant for those taking that vocational route. We also had the expectation as well as the support of friends and family. In short, we had good vocational training, understood by all, with consistency of offer. If we take a look at other countries, we see long-term policy making and delivery, which is consistent over time and linked to the education system. So where are we today, and what do apprenticeships in small businesses look like? Well, we know that most apprenticeships in small businesses are 16 to 19-year-olds at either level 2 or 3. We know that for over 2/3 of apprenticeships, they lead to full-time employment. And we also know that for nearly 80%, there are new jobs within a business, and that businesses do indeed see this as a clear business advantage. We also know, though, that there are still too many challenges facing a small business when they seek to take on an apprentice. There is even now a lack of information, both in terms of content and in the navigability of resources. This applies whether the business is taking on its first apprentice or seeking to grow their current provision. Quality, though, has to be the byword. Yet for far too many, there is still concern over the quality of apprenticeships. Quantity should never, ever be the target. So good vocational training with good apprenticeships that deliver for the needs of the businesses and for our people must be absolutely at the forefront of policy. And it is pleasing to see that at last we are seeing a shift towards this. For a third of our members, though, it is the day-to-day management of that apprentice which concerns them. Small businesses, by their very nature, are lacking in resource, in time and in money. So taking on an apprentice has to be seen in context with the additional value it brings to the bottom line for them and for their businesses. FSB believes that we have almost a once-in-a-generation opportunity today to build on the good progress that is already there now in support of small businesses. Indeed, small businesses should be a critical ally to government in boosting apprenticeship provision. But how? Firstly, small businesses need to understand the Apprenticeship Levy that is coming along. Most of our members, of course, and most small businesses will not pay the Apprenticeship Levy, which comes in April. Yet we have evidence of considerable confusion among small firms over their eligibility. Neglecting to communicate effectively with the majority of the employer population, our small businesses, is a cause for concern. Small businesses are struggling to grasp what the Apprenticeship Levy means for them, with much of the messaging and focus on big levy-paying employers. If we do not get that communication right, then more small businesses will simply not engage, not because they don't necessarily want to, but because they struggle to get the help they need to understand it, and we need to be making sure that the system and processes actually are working for them. So simplicity has to be the watchword. Secondly, more does need to be done to communicate the changes that will affect them. With the changes to funding arrangements for those that qualify, there are, though, significant opportunities. We know that smaller firms which take on 16 to 18-year-old apprentices will not be required to make any financial contribution towards the cost of that training. We know that businesses who take on younger apprentices will also benefit from a cash incentive of £1,000 per apprentice. Businesses who take on younger apprentices as well. Government is taking to allow large businesses paying the levy to share their digital apprenticeship vouchers with small businesses across their supply chain. This offer is a real opportunity to boost skills development. We also know that many more small businesses would take on an apprentice if we can only get this right. However, some small businesses face an entirely different scenario. Regardless of whether a small business will benefit from apprenticeship concessions or not, government does need to ramp up its messaging and outreach to small businesses. In particular, small firms need to be aware of any investment they may be expected to make. Emphasis should be placed on the gains to be made from making this important commitment, and failure to do so could lead to a reduction in apprentices being offered, with small firms deciding that apprenticeships no longer offer the value for money that they once did. We also need to see a discernible voice of small firms in all areas of apprenticeship policy. There are still not enough SMEs taking part in the government's Trailblazers programme, as Anthony has highlighted. Only 2% of FSB members have been part of one, despite 12% of our members saying that they are interested in taking part. So the new apprenticeship system must be designed with the needs and requirements of small businesses in mind. Getting it right in the support that we offer for small businesses, then it will be right for everybody. So think small first. Small businesses will also need to understand through a simple and easy system how to access any third-party provision and what it is that third parties do indeed offer to those small businesses. Is it genuinely delivering what the business needs, or is it just to fulfill a quota? So to sum up, small businesses really are the driving force behind apprenticeship growth, if we can get it right. What's more, our evidence shows that they are creating jobs for younger people and providing credible pathways into the world of work. But we also know that they need access to the right information, to adequate support and confidence in the quality and relevance of training being provided. We believe the government is heading in the right direction, but there needs to be a far greater focus on preparing small businesses for the changes on the horizon if we are to ensure that recent good work will not be unpicked. For once, we are, I believe, presented with a great opportunity. Small businesses want to support it, but if we don't get this right, if we don't grasp the opportunity before us, then we will not be empowering our young people to truly see vocational as an effective route on which to build their career, nor enable them to achieve their aspirations, both for their future and indeed for ours. Thank you.